So you also did a web-based anime show at one point, was it? It was a live action thing. I remember seeing it a couple of years ago. It was something that you had a live action talk show kind of.
Oh, anime TV?
Yeah, anime TV.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yes, I did. Something like that. Yeah.
You made them millions upon millions of dollars.
Yeah, see, Eric Sherman sat me down. And,
don't you just love that? You see the now you're just used to it. You see the contract coming like that.
No, it is kind of like that now, though. Whenever I see a contract, I actually read it now. And I try to say, okay, what do they get out of me? I usually sign them anyways, but I'm like...
That goes back to the business conversation we had earlier.
Yeah, business conversation.
She was talking about how she set up all these businesses and helps other people set up businesses. You know,
oh, yeah.
She should talk.
Maybe like work it out so that I don't...
Be a corporation.
There you go.
Do it.
So jumping a little bit, I like to jump around a lot. Eyeshine, how did that come about?
Well, I've only just started talking more about like how I got into it, but after Power Rangers, we were basically like towards the end of the show, like I had found out, and we had found out from one of the makeup artists, like they had this newspaper clipping that were looking for new Rangers. They didn't even tell us they were looking. And so like she showed us this clip and it was like, I was like, wow, it kind of hurt, you know? It was like, they couldn't even at least say something to us, you know, to say this is going to be it for you guys. We're looking for somebody else or some new people. It was just like they really just kind of stabbed us in the back. And so we all felt really kind of like, I don't know, I'm just taking it. And so it was like, well, it's time to quit, you know? And so Turbo was our last season. And, you know, they of course made all these promises to us of other shows and things like that. None of that ever came through. And I didn't plan well, you know, because I just thought, hey, I'm on this show and everything's going great. I thought it was going to just keep going that way forever. But the show was gone. I had nothing except for what I had saved up, which wasn't even really that much because the government really screwed me 1 year. But anyhow, and then I had a girlfriend. She took all my stuff. In fact, she became a Power Ranger. She kind of screwed me too. Anyways, so I had basically lost everything. I had a cot that I got from like Target. I had a guitar that I promised myself that I was going to learn, and I had like 2 trash bags full of clothes. And I would try to go to auditions, but there was never a role for. I mean, it's my face, you know, so there wasn't a whole lot at the time for half Asian, you know. It was either you're Asian or you're white, you know, and it's like, well, I'm in between, so it never really worked out for me. And so I just didn't have anything going for me. And I really kind of hit rock bottom. I kind of went into a depression. And I just turned to my guitar and I just started playing. I didn't know what to do, you know. I was, again, just living with whoever would let me live with them until it was time for me to move. And then I just taught myself how to play. And within that, I found, like, I can't always really just come out and say how I feel. But with the guitar, I can sing it, you know, and I can at least make it sound like the emotion I'm feeling. And I felt that helped me, actually. And I thought in my head, well, what if I started a band, you know, and we could do this and make music that would kind of do the same thing for other people. And it was just this idea that I had that I didn't really know how it was going to come about. You know, it wasn't like, I don't know, we're going to do this. It was just like a thought in my head. And then I started to look around and find people that would want to start a band. And I was met with so much, like, people were saying, you can't do it, this is impossible. They're like, yeah, I had a guy laugh in my face, actually, a friend of mine who's really close, like, laughed in my face and said, what, you're going to sing? And it really hurt me, but I think him saying that lit the fire inside of me. It made me go, okay, you know what, I am going to do it. And that's kind of how Eyeshine started, and then we've just kind of, grown as a band. So that's the move there, huh? It's like
one of the things you guys will find out about me when I give one of the moderating panels is I trying to get real deep, pull out deep, angsty emotions. So backstage, after this is over, he's going to beat the living crap out of me. But, but he'll feel better about it. And you guys will have more information about Johnny and actually understand that he's a real living person and not, the super idolized rock star person that we all, wish we could be.
We can still idolize him, though, right?
Yeah. But we can still love him to death. Because we do. Don't we?
Well, they have to say that now.
That doesn't mean I'm not going to get beat up after this. Unfortunately. I know you guys want to pay to see that, but that's pay-per-view. Because Johnny's going to make millions on millions upon millions of dollars, and I'll make some money after my medical deduction. So, see, business.
Work it out, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's done.
See, there you go. So. Now we've kind of opened the door on our guests. I want to open this up to some questions. I know you guys have them. You should. We've been talking. So I'm going to start with the young lady right in front with the sword because I don't want to get cut. So what's the question?
Johnny, do you find it easier to write songs to the melodies or the lyrics? If you know what I mean? The lyrics first or the music first?
You know what? I typically write the music first, or the melodies in my head. A lot of times, I'll have it in my head when I'm sleeping, like in my dreams or whatever. I'll see myself playing a certain chord progression, or be singing a certain melody, and then when I wake up, I can still hear it, and I try to write it down and see if it actually works. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Yes, sir.
How recommended is to have vocal training?
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
How recommended is to get vocal training for your voice?
Vocal training?
Yeah, is it recommended?
As far as acting or singing?
In any type of medium.
I would definitely say it's something you should maybe consider. If you want to be a voice actor,
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, acting is obviously a very big, important part of it, but so is the voice. I would.
Yeah, and I also feel like in voiceover, you don't have to just have one type of voice, so we don't all need to sound the same. There's something for everyone. I mean, listen to the radio, listen to TV, listen to shows. There's a lot of different voices out there, so it's not that you need to change your voice, but the more you can learn to better work with your own voice and know your instrument, the better you can sort of push it, and you can expand it, and you can do fun things with it, like scream and yell, like some of the characters that we have to do. You know how to do that well and not hurt yourself.
Young lady in the back?
Okay. All right. So I have a question. Working me. Okay. So out of all the voices that you've done, Johnny, which one is your favorite? Because my personal favorite is Ash, but which one is yours?
That's a tough question. and I feel like it's a tough question because there are some that I like a lot of the roles that I play, and it is hard for me to say, well, this one's my favorite, there are certainly ones that I'm like, well, I hated this one. I never want to do this one again. But the final one that I really love is hard. And I would say Nero from Devil May Cry 4 is probably one of the ones that is my favorites. There's a number of reasons for that, though, because that one I wasn't limited to picture. It wasn't like the picture wasn't drawn. I basically got a script, so I could create really whatever I wanted to. Emotionally, I can take the character pretty much wherever I wanted. If I wanted him to scream, I can make him scream, or cry, I can make him cry. So I had that freedom, and that plus I got to go to Japan to do the motion capture. So that was like, it's hard to say that that's not one of my favorite ones, if they flew me to somewhere like the desert, then I maybe wouldn't like it.
Will you be reprising your role for the anime adaptation of Persona 4, Toru Adachi?
I have no idea. We aren't usually in control of those things,
Well, if it ever comes out.
If I had a choice, if they were like, hey, do you want to, then I would most of the time be like, yes. you know, and I definitely enjoyed that character. So I actually didn't know it was going to be as big as it was. I mean, it was Persona 4, so I thought this is just going to, you know, I'm never going to hear this. And that's like, I signed so
Big title, yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
You were in that.